Daredevil is now on Disney Plus. They made a new season of basically the Netflix show. It is a continuation, actually. I will say that it wasn't initially like that. The first version that Disney Plus actually made of this Born Again show, it was supposed to be 18 episodes. I don't know if they actually filmed 18 episodes before kind of giving up and retooling it.
And how did it go?
You're an insane person.
Well, this is Daredevil on Disney Plus. This is Disney's Daredevil. Is it as brutal? I will say just off the bat that, okay, the action's good. Action's great. I would give this decently high ratings especially for a Marvel show.
He's holding thousands of people hostage.
And it could have been thousands more if she hadn't put up her own quarantine.
But just in general, as a TV show, it's not bad, right? So far, first 2 episodes. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. I appreciate the support.
You've got to do better, Senator.
Let me just say that the Marvel Disney Plus shows do not have a good track record. So much so that I have been skipping a lot of the more recent ones just because they're not really worth watching, you know? The first thing I'll say is that I actually do like the music in this. Well, okay, the intro here has some awesome orchestra. Everybody kind of left the Hell's Kitchen. It seems like even Foggy and Daredevil himself, Matt Murdock, also left Hell's Kitchen for the most part.
College or not, it's hard to believe Cherry's retiring.
Cherry. Really weird name, though, I'll be honest. But yeah, he's going to be becoming very, very important as a character. We can see that they are still working together. You know, they got the Nelson Murdock. And honestly, like, Foggy's looking good. Everybody looks great. I was worried they'd look a little bit too different because it's been a little bit since the season 3. So for episode 1 and 2, and maybe another one, you're going to be having some of the original writers from the Netflix show. Don't get me wrong. This is still pretty much a Disney Plus show. And speaking of which, they are actually filming season 2. So I hope that one is going to feel better because they actually know what kind of show they're going to make instead of, you know, changing course as much as they did.
I keep forgetting about the Friends code.
F is for fire that burns down the whole town. Use for uranium bombs.
Basically, this scene is all about just like introducing new characters. We see Cherry there. We see Kristen there. And Cherry's retiring. He used to be a detective. Now he's going to be a private detective for specifically Matt Murdock. I will say, though, the editing, it's a little strange here how it keeps chopping between conversations of like Foggy and Kirsten and then Cherry and his friend.
White Tiger, they're the future. We're obsolete.
So White Tiger is a new vigilante on the rise. I kind of thought by the end of episode 2 that he was introduced because Daredevil, he takes a leave of absence for a little bit. But no, White Tiger has just been around. I wonder if they've ever had interactions before. You think he would want to meet the guy that's kind of doing what he's doing. You're going to see this a lot in the show. Daredevil's hearing is like next level. And in fact, everything Daredevil does is like enhanced compared to the Netflix version of the character. And it turns out that Foggy has been keeping this client that he's been representing, Benny, in a sort of like witness protection program of his own. And Benny is calling, like thinking, oh, there's somebody after me, somebody's around.
No, just stay there.
Benny's obviously in trouble. Somebody breaks in, Matt hears it, and he heads off to do his Daredevil stuff. And we can finally talk about some Daredevil action in this, which I've got some opinions on. So one big change, and you're going to see it right away, is Daredevil now employs a sort of grappling hook far more than he's ever done before. He kind of swings around with it like he's Spider-Man. And it's very comic book accurate, I'll give it that. He's kind of in the Netflix version, but not really. So there's one part in particular I kind of need to mention in terms of bad CGI. Yeah, that doesn't look very good. That's very, very noticeable. That moment in particular could have been maybe cut.
Foggy, he wanted to know where you were.
And that's where it gets a little dangerous. The person that broke in, I'll just say it's Bullseye, okay? It's Bullseye. It's Poindexter himself. He wanted to know where Foggy Nelson was. Why he's not after like Vanessa or Fisk, who knows? Maybe he was. So now Daredevil has to warn Foggy about these. Something's going to happen possibly soon. Okay. So it happens. All right. It's maybe Marvel's like weakest kept secret. Foggy does die here, right? But I will say something that's confusing. One of the writers or directors for Daredevil season 2, which they are filming right now, has said that Foggy and Karen both come back. So does he get resurrected the same way Elektra did in season 2? So Bullseye comes down. He says the classic "Hello, Karen," which is like, I don't know why he's taunting her all the time. He did a lot in the Netflix show as well, to be fair. And then we get one of the first actual action scenes in this show. I will say that it does do action. Do I want to say better? Like if you want your Daredevil to be realistic and kind of gritty kind of thing, then yeah, this one's not that Daredevil. This one is a Daredevil that is like, imagine he has like superpowers in some way. The action scenes in this are not going to feel realistic. And Bullseye is one of my favorite characters. I will point out that I really don't like Bullseye's costume here. It's I think it's like maybe it's comic book accurate. I don't think it is.
There's something going on downstairs.
Oh my God.
So the fight is really good. It's some great action sequence, right? You'd think that Daredevil would be a little bit weaker than Bullseye, because Bullseye at the very end of season 3, if you remember, he was actually enhanced with something. In the comic book, he has like a little bit of adamantium in him, and it actually does help explain what happens later. Eventually, Bullseye does fall off a building, and he survives somehow. I gotta say, I really love the way Bullseye fights though. He's just chucking random objects anywhere, and then like, I shit you not, like 5 seconds later the object comes and hits somebody in the head. And you know, that is something that both the Netflix show and the show does really well. There's something about a fight going on and then everybody gets exhausted and they're just punching each other, taking a breather, kind of like leaning against the wall, you know. That's like, there's something very so realistic and like relatable about that. Also, in regards to Bullseye's mask, it must be hard to breathe in that goddamn ski mask. He is like huffing and puffing on the stairs and he can't get like any air in. Okay, so it's shots like this that confuse me with what they want to do with the Daredevil character. Like, okay, you can't have him huffing and puffing in the hallway because he threw a couple punches, then also be able to jump, like, what was that, 10 feet? He jumped really fucking far. He's not a frog. Karen, like, desperately trying to help him, knowing that I don't know where Foggy was shot, but like it seemed like it was near the heart. You know, Bullseye wouldn't miss. I don't know why he wouldn't do a headshot, by the way, but maybe he just wanted this to go on. But yes, it's a very, very good scene. This is like a big highlight here. The nonchalant way Daredevil just tosses Bullseye off the fucking roof, and like Bullseye just getting a smile on his face, obviously before that happened. Okay, losing Foggy. You know, like, feel how you feel about Foggy, but like, he's a character that like you spent so much time with in the Netflix show. You just can't imagine him dying. Now, granted, this would mean so much more if it happened in season 3, because there was a big time gap and we had like no time to get reinvested into Foggy's character.
Victor, there's no reason to be rude, not at this table nor to anyone who sits at it.
Understood.
So it turns out Kingpin and Vanessa, ever since a beating he got in the TV show Echo, which I'll be honest, I didn't really watch Echo. I wasn't that interested. So he was off recovering from that beatdown. And in that time, Vanessa kind of grew estranged from him and they're having marital issues. So yeah, in this scene, she's like talking to a bunch of drug lords. She's basically running Kingpin's operation. This is the part that's hard for me to believe because she's running it apparently better than Kingpin ever ran it. He's the Kingpin.
Vanessa.
As you know from the Netflix show, if you watched it, she was attracted to Kingpin of his power, because of his influence, because of all the stuff that made him a monster. But now she doesn't feel that way anymore because she wants that power.
What we could do for this city, I would have to step away.
So one of the big changes here is that now the Kingpin is running for mayor. We'll see what his motivation is entirely, but it is kind of strange. I think his entire reason for doing it is to try to get rid of vigilantes like Spider-Man, Daredevil, White Tiger, because his criminal enterprise wasn't able to do it. Like, why does he think the police can? Like, so there's a scene where Daredevil is giving testimony against Bullseye, Poindexter, and I want to point this out because I think it's kind of funny. He says like, okay, justice will never be served because like I won't ever get to see Foggy again, and like we won't be able to see Foggy again. He's talking about Karen.
It won't be served because I don't get to see him again.
I just want to point out that's some strange terminology because like Daredevil can't see. Yeah.
San Francisco's nice.
It's been over a year since Karen and Matt spoke to each other, and I just want to also point out that Matt's behavior here is a little strange.
No, Karen, please don't. Can you just wait for 5 minutes?
It wasn't built up, and a lot of this show is not built up. Like, Foggy's death wasn't really built up because it kind of just maybe expects you to have watched season 1 to 3 in Netflix, and then this show.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
I just want to throw this in there real quick that when Matt hears the sentencing of Poindexter, I can't tell if Matt is happy or angry about the sentencing. I will say that none of the new characters are really connecting with me just yet. It is very early on. Like this whole Kirsten character, I kind of find, maybe it's a very personal thing, okay? I kind of find her a little bit annoying. She's the one that Matt works with in the new law firm. Maybe it's because of the coaching, behind the scenes, or the reshots, the rewrites. Matt doesn't really act blind anymore. Like he used to put on more of a front about it. When he talks to people, you can see his eyes. They look directly at the person he's speaking to. In the Netflix show, he used to stare off to the side. Even if the person was like right in front of them, he would stare off over here.
Well, I'll admit it's not entirely unpleasant to see you again.
Daredevil basically just warns him, hey, if you're actually trying to game the system, I'll come after you. So that's all cool. That does make sense for the character. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that they do talk about the Echo show. Matt brings up like, okay, didn't you get shot in the face? Yeah, that did happen in the Echo show. I never watched it, like I said. And like all these scenes with Vanessa, like she really seems like she's up to something. Like she doesn't really like Fisk anymore, is the impression I'm getting. It really seems to me like she's completely out of love with him. In fact, she actually cheated on him during his absence with somebody named Adam.
Do not kill him.
And like she kind of begs Fisk to not kill Adam, and he says he would promise. That's really strange to me. Here's the thing, like even if you mention Vanessa's name in front of him and you're a stranger, Fisk would get angry.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I want to tell you, my brother and I, we gratefully accept...
Wesley will take care of you. Put him in a car.
Understood.
If you were involved with his goddamn wife in some way like that, I think Fisk would be absolutely furious. Fisk is now mayor of New York. He won the election. And that also kind of like begs the question, like, why is he not in prison already? Because like at the end of season 3, he paid off a lot of the FBI and blackmailed them and all this other shit. He should not be a free man.
Yeah, boss. I'm not your boss anymore. Wilson Fisk is.
And I just want to also point out that the music choice in this show is really weird. Yeah, that's a choice. I don't know. They're going for different vibes with this one. He's a man by the name of Hector. He sees a mugging that's going on. He tries to stop it. Turns out there's like crooked cops or some shit like that. Hector basically accidentally kills one of them in a very brutal scene. Yeah, no, overall, like, it's still early, but I kind of need, like I said, I need more of my Kingpin. I need Kingpin to do some more stuff here. Him just being mayor and trying to maintain a good image is not that exciting. Matt Murdock eventually hears, because he has insane hearing. I wonder if he just hears constantly, or if he's like, my spidey sense is tingling. Some bullshit is going on over there. So he can hear that this guy, those two officers are trying to coerce this guy into a false confession.
Thank you.
He starts questioning him about the whole thing, like, and he obviously knows he's telling the truth because he can hear the man's heartbeat.
I love your work.
Thank you.
Dr. Glenn, I need help.
Muse, right? Muse. You see him in his human form, non-vigilante outfit. He's obviously seeking help from Matt's girlfriend, who is like, this is his new girlfriend that he has. She's probably not long for this world, let's be real. She's a therapist of some kind, and like she wrote a new book. She's getting interviewed. He's going to be a psychopathic artist that deals with a lot of body mutilation. He's a very disturbed individual, and I think he's going to make a great villain. So like overall, like I'm liking the show. It's not bad, right? There's something about these Marvel shows that just don't really feel like proper TV shows. I don't know what it is exactly.
Makes no sense to me, this mayor thing.
Fisk wants to win everybody over, at least in this episode. He's trying to like be the good mayor. Yeah, this police commissioner comes to resign because he doesn't want to work under Fisk.
Well, you seem pretty busy, so I'll get right to the point. I'm resigning my post, effective tonight.
Fisk is eating like a Subway sandwich and there's wrapper all over it. It kind of lifts the wrapper a bit to reveal a like photograph he took of his family, and then the guy stays on the job. Now, Fisk later says that that sandwich tasted terrible.
Sandwich was disgusting.
But like, why were you eating the sandwich? You could have just had that photo on his desk. I guess he's like, in his head, he's just like, presentation. I need to be able to reveal it by lifting up a sandwich wrapper.
So I usually like to start off with a couple of questions.
So Vanessa and Kingpin are having some issues. You go to see the same exact therapist that Matt Murdock is dating. And I just want to point out in this scene that Heather is not in the same room as Kingpin and Vanessa. That's all. They're actually in completely separate rooms. This is a part of the reshoots.
Quickly.
So, okay, let me explain something real quick. So that subway scene where the guy is being mugged, those two officers reported that they were the only ones there, and it was an unprovoked attack by the White Tiger. They didn't mention that they were actually beating up this one guy. So they tracked him down, and they're going to kill him. But Matt figures this out and gets to him first. He basically tells them to get the fuck out of that apartment. They're coming to kill you. Don't trust them. And they beat the shit out of Daredevil. The action is really good. Like overall, like it's not bad. So I want to point out here that they're both officers. It's a really good scene. Very brutal. This is exactly what they promised us in the trailer. But I will say, what are you doing, bro? You beat the shit out of them. Possibly killed them. They're probably going to say Matt and Murdock assaulted me, and they could just lie about the location, right? And I'll just say that the episode 2 kind of ends with this Matt yelling really loudly. Matt yells a lot in the show. He yelled a lot in the trailers. He's yelling a lot when he fights. Yeah, he's going to have to deal with that kind of nonsense in episode 3. Overall, the show in general, okay, so I do like it. I will say, personally to me, and like I can be very harsh. That's just in my nature. I would give it like a 7 out of 10. And the Netflix stuff by relative to that would be like a 10 out of 10. So relative to the Netflix stuff, this is a 7 out of 10. The dialogue is not that great. I don't really like any of the new characters. The action is good. I'm not a fan of how CGI Matt is now. I get why he needs to be, because he needs to stand up against people that have superpowers.
Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
It's more comic book accurate, I will admit, but you're also a character from the Netflix show where you could not do any of this. Like, we just got finished watching Brave New World, if you were actually one of the people that saw that movie. Anthony Mackie was not jumping 11 feet in the air and like swinging around, but like it is cool seeing Matt, Karen again, even Foggy for the short period of time we saw him. Kind of wish they knew what kind of show they were making so they didn't have to restitch it all together. I don't know. Yeah, overall for me, a 7 out of 10. I will be watching and covering the show every week. What do you think about Daredevil? Post in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say on this. I will say that I'm working on a very large From TV show series review, pretty much up to season 3, and that's going to be very interesting to get into. I will warn you that I am very critical of that show as well. It's just kind of my thing, I guess. But anyways, thank you for watching.